What's going on, everyone? Let's dive right into the updates in regards to Kyrie Irving potentially heading to the Lakers. So to simplify it, there is an article from the Southern California News Group, and this is what the meat and potato says. Sources have told the Southern California News Group that the price for Irving, who has his own limited market for his service, would involve at least one of the two tradable first-round draft picks the Lakers have in 2027 or 2029, as well as more second-round draft compensation. Now, up until this point, the reported trade that the Lakers have presented to the Nets is a first-round pick, take your pick, 29, 27, as well as a first-round pick and maybe a potential pick swap. I've also heard that they are potentially giving up two first-round picks, a first, and then that's where it will be. Now, again, this is that sources told me type thing that anyone could just put out there. Southern California News Group, they're just reporting the information that is put out there. But this does line up with the packages that seem to be out there for Kyrie Irving. But to kind of give you guys an idea of what the Lakers have as far as draft capital goes, here you go. Put it all together for you. So the 2023 NBA draft, the Lakers' first round pick, Pelicans have the rights to swap due to the Anthony Davis trade, and they do own their own second round pick in 2024. Same thing, swap with the Pelicans, and they own their own second round pick. So 2023, 2024, they own their second round pick. In 2025, first round, own, but Pelicans have the right to pick if they forego the 2024 pick. So in 2024, they have the options of either receiving that pick or deferring it to 2025. And then in 2025, they own their own second round pick. 2026, they own their first and second. And then 2027, which is the first round pick that could be traded, they have a first and a second round, as well as in 2028, they own their own first and second round, and then 2029, first and second round. But if they trade the 27 pick, they cannot trade the 28th pick. So the 27, 29 picks are the ones that are tradable for the first rounds. But every year going forward, from 2023 all the way to 2029, they own their own second round picks. Now, from a Lakers standpoint, I understand they have hit gold time after time after time with these second round picks, but they've also done the same with undrafted. So the Lakers do have a lot of second round picks that they could put together instead of that second first, right? Instead of doing the 27 and the 29, they could package together, say, 3 or 4 second round picks along with the, let's say, 27th pick. So you could do something with the 27th pick, 2023 second, right? 2025 second, and maybe even the 2027 second. So basically you have no first round picks in 2027, but you're giving up 3 firsts as well as a 2027, and maybe you do a pick swap for 25, 26, or 28, depending on, well, I don't even think you can negotiate for the 25 pick, so it'd have to be, 26 or 28. Maybe you do a pick swap. So Lakers could offer a pick swap. They could offer 3 first round picks, and they could offer one of the 27 or 29 picks. That is very likely the most that they are willing to go, because they want to keep that first round pick to go potentially get a Buddy Hield, something along those lines. So if you give up 23, 25, and 27 second round picks, that still gives you the 29th second round pick as well as the 29th first round pick. You can package those two together and say, hey, we don't have a pick in 27, we don't have a pick in 29, but we're getting Buddy Hield and we're getting Kyrie Irving in that trade. So that's very likely what the Lakers are looking at as far as giving up draft compensation. That the Nets, they want more than just 1 or 2 first round picks, or 1 or 2 second round picks. The Lakers have offered up to 2, but the Nets want more. I could see the Lakers giving up 3 second rounds, 27, and then as well as the maybe like a pick swap or something like that to kind of make things work. But the Kyrie Irving team odds. As you see, the Lakers are still favorite and a 61.54% chance that Kyrie Irving will end up on the Lakers, followed by the Nets, and then there's the Sixers, and then it's like the Heat, Dallas, things like that. But I just kind of wanted to highlight that the Lakers, based on all the sports books, are still the favored to land Kyrie Irving. Now, it isn't the 400, the minus 400 it was a couple weeks ago, but it did drop to basically a pick at one point, and then since then has gone back up to minus 160. Even with all of the rumors, even with all of the speculation, even with all of the conflicting reports, and a lot of them are heavily favored for the Nets, still looks like the Lakers are the favorite. And now, this is just betting odds, but Vegas isn't wrong very often, right? Vegas is usually the ones that find this stuff out before anybody else. I mean, we have seen time and time again, trades basically get revealed because Vegas just has some crazy odds on it. So the fact that the Lakers are still favored, even through all of this chaos and all of this turmoil, especially yesterday, there were countless reports on just everything, this absolute mess and just whirlwind from yesterday. The fact that the Lakers are still favorites to land Kyrie Irving is pretty telling. And it's a 61% chance, which isn't like ideal. Of course you want like a 90%, but in reality, like this is about as good as it gets for Kyrie Irving going to Lakers. So the Lakers have the assets in second round picks to make the move, assuming that the Nets really do want more second round picks. And on top of that, they have the first round pick that they could give up in 27 or 29. You likely let the Brooklyn Nets choose. Nets, I'd imagine, want the 27th pick, although they may want the 29th because Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, they're young enough to where in 5 years they could still be on the Lakers. So maybe the Nets look at it as like, hey, well, if we get to 29, all three of those guys will be gone. Lakers might be in a rebuild stage, that kind of thing. But it's like, do you want to wait, 7 years for your next pick? Maybe, possibly. But the Lakers could give up a bunch of second round picks over the next, several years, give up that pick to acquire Kyrie Irving. Now, I don't think the Lakers value those second round picks. If this really is real, then I think this deal gets done immediately. Like if the Lakers don't have to give up both first round picks, because that seems to be the struggle, right? The Lakers don't want to give up any more draft picks. The Lakers want to give up one first round pick, couple seconds, likely a pick swap, but they want to keep one of their first rounds so they could go get Buddy Hield or somebody else. Buddy Hield, Eric Gordon, whoever, some mystery player we haven't heard of yet. The Lakers want to make trades beyond the Kyrie Irving trade. So they're very adamant about preserving that 2029 pick. Now, technically, the Lakers could go to 4 second round picks, but in reality, I think that they will likely try to, like I said, it'll probably be settled on a first, 3 seconds, and a pick swap. There you go. You're getting essentially 4 picks or 5 picks with the pick swap, right? You're getting 3 seconds, 1 first, and a pick swap. There you go. So you're getting all these assets from that. We'll likely take on Joe Harris. We'll take on Kyrie Irving. We'll extend Kyrie Irving. LeBron does the extension. All is right in the world in Lakerland. The Nets, they get a bunch of assets, things like that. Now, there is still talks and reports of a third team getting Russell Westbrook, but the problem is that if you want all those assets, there's no way we can trade Russell Westbrook to another team without giving up that first, and that's the whole point. So even if the Nets, because you might be thinking like, why don't, like if you're the Lakers, do that now. Come on, let's go. Let's get it done. But if you look at the full scope, if they still don't want Westbrook, then that means Westbrook has to go to another team, which means you likely have to give up a first. And that's where this dilemma lies. That's what I think is holding this up, is that the Lakers don't want to give up both of their first round picks. And the Nets, they don't want to take on Westbrook. So they're at the standstill where you need a third team, and it just makes everything very difficult because the only way that could happen is the Lakers give up a first round pick. I don't think a team is going to want to absorb Westbrook's contract in order to take on 2 firsts. But you got to keep in mind, though, too, is that if the Nets were to do that, the Nets get a huge trade exception because if they're not taking any players back, they're getting a huge exception. So, like, let's say the Spurs, they end up absorbing Westbrook. That means a trade exception goes to the Nets. That is valuable in and of itself because that means if a player becomes disgruntled and doesn't want to be there and wants to leave, guess who has a $36 million trade exception? So then they can go and use that to go get somebody else. So again, the Lakers do have a lot of leverage here because it's like, if we have to get a third team, there's no way we can give you all these picks. So you need to make up your mind. Do you want the picks? and take Westbrook, and then you just get this treasure trove of picks, and then you could do whatever you want to do with Westbrook. Maybe then you trade him to the Spurs, and maybe you figure something out, or whatever. Package one of those picks, maybe get a Josh Richardson, something like that. You can kind of make it work. But you're going to have to take Russell Westbrook, and you're going to have to. This is the only way it's going to happen. Because if we get another team involved, you're not getting any first. We'll give you like 4 seconds, but that first round pick's got to go to the Spurs to take on Westbrook. So you're getting a huge trade exception, and on top of getting the trade exception, you're also getting, 4 second round picks. So there you go. Like, what do you want to do? What would you rather have? And then the Lakers could keep that first round and then use that to go get a Buddy Hield, so on and so forth. So I think that this is still very likely going to be dragged on for a while. Based on all the information. I know a lot of people think this deal's dead. I hear the conversations. I hear all the people in the comment section, like the deal's done, this, that, and the other. If the deal was dead and there was no way it was going to happen, why wouldn't the Nets just come out and say, we're not trading Kyrie Irving? I mean, seriously, like, we haven't even heard from the Nets that they don't want Russell Westbrook. They could just be playing hardball for all we know. The best way to just end this and it's all over is the Nets say we're keeping Kyrie Irving because we're keeping Kevin Durant for a year, and that's it. It's done. Deal's over. We don't like the package that the Lakers are offering. We're willing to ride it out for a year, and whatever happens with Kyrie happens with Kyrie. Boom, deal's done. It's over. Move on. Write it off. We're done. But that doesn't happen. Until that happens, there's still a chance. Whether it's 1% or 100%, doesn't matter. The fact is, the Nets are still engaging with the Lakers, and we still have a month and a half before training camp. We still have a long time before this deal needs to get done, and there's no need to rush from either side. We see the reports, right? Yesterday, Kevin Durant wants Kyrie Irving gone. He wants him gone. That's why he requested the trade. Now, whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter. The fact that that was put out there is huge because now the Lakers can use that to their advantage. Hey, man. I thought Kevin Durant, he wanted to trade. It turns out that he wants Kyrie gone. And if that's true, well, then guess what? You're at the mercy of us because you're going to lose Kevin Durant. What if Kevin Durant doesn't want to play? What if Kyrie doesn't want to play? You really want that implosion in your locker room? Like if Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant really don't want to play together anymore, you want to deal with that? Go ahead. Watch what happens. We saw what happened to you guys last year. Get what I'm saying? It becomes something that they can use to really benefit the team and just really and just build that leverage. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Just wanted to share this information with you. I think it's pretty interesting and wanted to kind of give you an insight. I know a lot of people are burnt out with all the conflicting reports, this, that, and the other, but I figured at worst case, you're getting some value in like at least knowing where we stand as far as draft picks goes for the Lakers, and what they have to potentially trade, what they don't, all of that stuff. So hopefully you got some value in at least that. If you did, don't forget to like this video. But let me know your thoughts on it. Do you think this deal gets done? How do you think it gets worked out? You think Lakers give up 3, 4 second round picks, maybe a first round draft pick? Do you think like Nets, they have to take Westbrook? They have no choice, especially for giving up all those assets. Like I said, I just don't see a way, because if the Lakers are adamant about keeping those 2 first round picks, then there's no way the Nets can get a first round pick if they don't take Russell Westbrook. So if you're the Nets, it's simple. You either want the first or you don't. We'll give you 3 to 4 seconds. That's all for you. But if you want 2 first round picks, it's not going to happen. If you want that 1 first round pick, you have to take Westbrook. That's your choice. Otherwise, you're getting a trade exception, which in many cases can be more valuable than a draft pick. And that money falls off the books at the end of the year. So either way, whether you spend it or not, you're gaining some real value in that. So what do you want to do? Take your pick. Again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. One last little shameless plug is I did start As It Stands Lakers. It is a channel just like this, dedicated to only the Lakers, because the Lakers are my favorite team. And on this channel, As It Stands, I talk about all teams, all sports, stuff like that. We have football season coming up, so I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. And I just wanted to make a dedicated channel to the Lakers to give the ins and outs. Now, all the big stuff, all the big news and stuff, I will still post here on this channel. But if you want all the ins and outs and just rumors and theories and just discussions just strictly on the Lakers, link down in the description, or in the comment section. Go check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.